Sure. Hey, so thanks for having me. So my background is mostly in aviation, believe it or not. So I've had a full career both with Canadian Armed Forces and privately working in the field. And but I also had had a number of changes in my life actually that led me to a position where I now find I need to supplement my income if I'm going to hit retirement at a reasonable age. I recognized I needed to establish some passive income that was going to help me see an enjoyable retirement. So I started studying professionally into real estate a few years ago. But I began investing in real estate as a speculator many years ago. I've done a lot of house hacking in the past, and learned the value of real estate through renovation and improvements in order to actually be able to gain equity. What I've learned in the last few years is how to actually transition that into something that continues to pay you, not just once, but how it can supplement your income on a monthly basis.
Nice. So where you have invested in North America, or Canada, US, and where have you invested?
My investments in the past have been in New Brunswick, um,
Nice.
in Alberta, in Edmonton area, north of Bonaccord, as well here in Abbotsford, British Columbia. I'm also investing in private equity deals as well as some private lending. So most of those are in Ontario.
Oh, okay, nice. So different markets and different investments. So what would you suggest to somebody who is looking to get into real estate? How can they decide which market to pick up?
Well, I think as you and I both know, I mean, it's important to invest in an education to make sure that you're knowledgeable when you're making investments. But the professional investor is going to be analyzing markets. They're going to be looking at what's happening from the gross domestic product in the various provinces. They're going to be looking at what's happening in affordability and vacancy rates and what kind of landlord-tenant laws exist. Is it something where it's even viable to run a business or not? And once you learn the skills in analyzing the markets and being able to watch the trend of immigration and where people are wanting to live, and establish something that is going to provide them with housing in those areas, then you've got a win-win solution, right?
Nice, nice. That's great. So you mentioned like you had did some renovations and tours, and what what did you learn from those?
It's actually fascinating. You know, the first home I bought um, was with the intention of finding somewhere that we could relax and enjoy life. I bought an old farmhouse in the middle of New Brunswick. Um, and while living there, we built a garage and changed the kitchen cabinets and painted everything inside and out and trimmed up all of the property was refreshed. And what I didn't expect, but was just totally impressed with, was how I doubled the value of that property in 4 years with a
Wow.
little bit of sweat equity and leveraging some of the local talent to help. I was able to actually really see the potential of real estate. And I think we all sort of know that. But like I say, what I've learned since is the value of being able to leverage that further. I've bought and sold many properties. What I'm learning about now is the idea of keeping it and then pulling the equity out and leveraging that for further acquisition. And that's transformative, right? That's life changing.
Yes, I agree. So in birds, like like your flips or birds, in flips, what happens is you take a profit, and that's a one time, right?
Hmm.
And when it's buy and hold, you have the three profit centers. It's not only one time profit. You have the cash flow, and that gives you, like you said, like year over year, every month income, and then you have the appreciation over time, properties go up in value. And then there's a mortgage pay down. So, tenants are they're helping to pay down the mortgage, and then in 2 years or 3 years, you can refinance. So imagine somebody, keep on buying even like one property per year. And then, like 5 years or 10 years, they can, then after 5 years, they can keep on refinancing one property, right? So it's just like, it's a fascinating, yeah.
Build that ladder. I love that, right? That is the magic. So, I mean, our goal now is to acquire one multifamily property annually per year, with the goal of actually transitioning into real estate investing full time in 2031. So I've mapped out the goal, what the numbers need to look like, and how we're going to get there. It's currently our focus is in Alberta and Edmonton, Alberta, as we look to find the right property, analyzing deals, and talking to potential investors is what we do.
Nice, that's great. And so when you're analyzing properties, what is the most important thing, that makes new investors, separate from the experienced investors? Like, when somebody is new, they're looking at a property and they like, new, shiny, higher value, or, on the other side, experienced investors look at like the price per door, right? And then what's the property value? Yeah.
There's a real nugget that you mentioned there, and that is in the difference between the amateur and the professional. The amateur is getting emotional.
Mm-hmm.
You're buying with emotion, where the professional is looking at the numbers and making sure that you're assessing and comparing return on investment across multiple different assessments, and then saying this is the one I wanted to go for, and this reason. So that truly, there's a lot of contributing factors that are going to help select that, and that's going to be the neighborhood, the potential for the rents to be increased, the current, the amount of investment you're going to need to outlay in order to get it there. Are you going to realize that return as you refinance? What kind of tenant mix are you going to be dealing with? Are you prepared for, the good, bad, and ugly? How you're set up. All of those things come into play as you're using, the skills that we've attained as investors. But it also truly points to the need for a team on the ground that's going to manage your property, that you've established that rapport with, so you're able to have confidence in your decisions going forward too.
Nice. That's really good. That's really important. You mentioned about like importance having a team. It's not only one person, and even like finding a new property, like getting out of the comfort zone. So what I realized is, partner up with other people who have skills. Like when I initially started into investing, and I partner up with other people, like in a bigger multifamily, like as a joint venture. And what I realized that when I was looking on the deals, like on a bigger, like higher units, and I was learning. It was not only like investment, and it, like you say it passive, but it's not really a passive, like you get that, every few months you get those monthly reports, and then, after a few years you get that, how the working partners increased value of that property, and then now they're refinancing. So actually it's not only, passive investing, is you're learning, and then you're investing in a property that you would not be able to do on your own, because at that time every investor needs skills, and they need experience, and they need team, and that comes with time.
So true. So very true. There's a new language that you get exposed to as you start into real estate investing. You learn terms that you may have heard in the past but didn't understand in the same way you do now. But there's a lot to this, and I think it's important for everybody to recognize the significance of that sweat equity you're going to put in as a active investor in making these deals come to fruition, bringing them to the potential passive investors, there's a lot that goes on before you get there.
Yes, a lot goes behind the doors. Like it's like finding the properties and analyzing the underwriting, and you and me, like as a working partners, like on those deals, like you see how much work goes into and how much education and how much coaching goes into. It's not only and the time, because once you have the knowledge, then you need to take time to grasp into, and then you take action, right? So that's really really important aspect. It's not only the property, it's not only the operator, it's not only the property, it's like both together.
It is. It is. It's a. I think that what did our friends say that you've got to look at your contact list, establishing your contact list, and maintaining the connections with individuals. You've got to look after. You got to look at property deal flow and analysis at all times. You've got to look after the property management, making sure you're looking after your children. I think there's something else that I'm supposed to remember in this, but they require equal attention every day, right?
I agree. And then end of the day, we are all growing together. You know, we add value to each other and we share, and you know every market cycle, ups and downs. And then as a real estate investors, we we value the time and we value the skills and we value the experience, right? So it's really it takes time to build the empire, but it's worth it, right? It's fun and
It's hard work. It's exciting work. There's emotion. You don't buy with emotion, but you certainly have a lot of emotion you put into the process because there's hard work here. You give up a lot of your own time or your freedom in order to find that freedom, right?
yes.
In order to earn your lifestyle freedom, you need to put a lot of time in, for sure.
Nice. And it's not only the properties, right? It's the lifestyle, right? Like being able to, you're living in BC and you have investor, you have properties all over, Canada, and so that is something that you're enjoying the life you have, and that's the most important.
It's key, right? In order to sustain this, um, think about the things that you have worked so hard for all your life to get to a point where you're retiring, you're able to retire.
Mhm.
And if retirement means that you need to downsize to be able to afford to continue that lifestyle, then something's wrong.
Yes.
So, that light bulb went on several years ago. It's like I do not want to downsize when I get older. Well, maybe because I physically would rather a smaller space, but not because I need to financially.
And having that choice, right?
Yeah.
Having that choice, and even like going somewhere and going to work, right? Like having that choice, you are going with by choice. It's not like have to, right? You're going to the store, you're buying something because you can, not like you're picking something. It's not, it's that freedom and the financial freedom, and that's and as a healthcare professional, I see a huge impact on our human body, and like it's not only the physical health, it's also the mental health, right?
Mhm.
And during COVID times and during high inflation times, people been through like high, like really, stress with mental health, because of the financials, right? So yeah.
It takes a toll on us, right? And as we when we're young, we actually have all of this. Um, I don't know. It's a vision of invincibility, perhaps. You fail, you don't necessarily realize your mortality until time actually takes its toll on you. You take a few hits and you realize, oh, that hurts, right? And you establish the ability to absorb stress and to learn more, and you grow constantly. And it's amazing how much more you can take in now than maybe 20 years ago, but at the same time, how much toll that takes on the amount of time and energy you have afterwards, right? It's a balancing act.
I agree. And then like a lot of times I have seen people like, real estate is amazing and it gives you a lot of, you know, profits and incentives and being the freedom and everybody wants to buy a real estate and buy properties. And I have seen like, lot, there's a few things that hold people back. What do you think? What have you experienced? What are things that hold people back to, like not they want to buy, but they think they can't,
Yeah,
buy real estate. Yeah.
that's really really important to think about, right? So most people um, either do not have the money,
Hmm.
do not have the time, or do not have the education. And one of those three things is in the back of their mind holding them back. They don't necessarily realize that they do have access to equity or to savings that could earn better returns if it was applied to a real estate investment than, say, in a GIC or an RRSP. They don't necessarily consider that paying down their mortgage on their home, um, as much as that seems to be the right objective, it's missing out on the opportunity to get your money working for you, to
Hmm.
earn more money, and be able to pay down whatever debts you want later, and faster, right? There's the ability, through a Smith maneuver to be able to have an investment property and use the income from that to pay down your home mortgage and before paying off the expenses back in the investment property. And so what is it? A cash flow dam, I believe is the
Yes.
term. This is a fascinating thing. I wish I had known this so much sooner.
Right.
The opportunity to take a 20-year mortgage and pay it off in 7 years is very real with this kind of strategy.
Yes. And then imagine that, like open line of credit, like that comes with the mortgage, using that to buy more properties, right?
Yeah.
Like because the goal is not to take the money and spend on liabilities. The goal is to buy assets.
Yeah, there's so much to that, right? The difference in understanding your financial intelligence here. The difference between a liability and an asset, and the true meaning of wealth doesn't necessarily mean driving a flashy car. It means the ability to be able to decide. I would like to go to Italy and visit for 2 weeks and actually not have to worry about how I'm going to pay for it. This is my lifestyle freedom goal, is to be able to make decisions in the future and not worry about how it's going to be paid for, because I'm confident that I've got that passive income behind me that's going to continue to do that. I don't want that today. I want that once I've built up that wealth and that equity and be able to make those decisions then with the profits from that income, not with
I,
not with debt to pay for it now.
right, I agree. And that flashy car, like the new, it's only for one day,
Yeah,
right? It
sure.
gets it like the new and the charm, and it just goes away. but uh, but with real estate, and it gives you the power to buy anything you want.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a hard work, but and the other thing, like even like you said, like the money, right? Like you have seen investors, buying with the seller financing and buying with the, like investment cards. You
Mhm.
know, those are the options for people. Like it, I feel like uh, for anybody to invest into real estate, having no money, like I don't have money, that just shuts down everything, right?
It closes their mind to the options.
Yes.
Instead of saying, "How am I going to do this?" they say they can't. And the minute you put that door in front of, or they close the door in front of you saying, "I can't do that," then you close yourself to the options that exist beyond.
Mhm.
Like you say, the option of vendor financing, of investors that are willing to support you in some bridge loan, the ability um, the bank may say no to you, but there are other options for sourcing capital that you need to be able to invest. You
I
know,
agree. And with the multifamily like investment properties, right? Like the properties, qualify. Somebody can. It's not only the income, right?
Well, this is the beauty of the multifamily property, right? So if you're buying a 6 doors or up in a multifamily apartment site, you now have the ability the apartment has to speak for itself. You're buying a business. You're buying a business, and what the banks are interested in when they're financing that is really what's the net operating income? What have you got for income coming from this property? Is it something that we think is a good investment for us, and therefore we'll loan you money or not? You're not going to necessarily want to invest in you in a business that's floundering. They're going to want to invest in one that's functioning properly. It's not to say that you shouldn't buy a property that doesn't have good numbers, as long as you've got the means to turn it around. Right?
That's important. That is important. Yes. Yeah. And so thank you everyone for watching the video. And it's real estate is for everybody, and it's like, so don't um, keep yourself stopped or hold you back for buying anything. And so there are options and there are strategies anybody can use. It's open your mind, and you can change your life. You can turn around your life.
So open your mind. The power of mindset.
Yes, I agree. I
The
agree.
ability to make it happen. It's been a real pleasure joining you today, Kiran.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.